Hey guys.
But I don't have a fan of fluff. You know, I smashed my foot. This morning I smashed my foot. For this right now.
There's a drawing foot.
Can you guys still see me? Let me know. I'm trying to figure out how I can see my chat while I'm on here chatting with you guys. Okay, welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy. Oh, thank you. Okay, that's how I can do it. Okay. So can you guys see me? Let me know, because I want you guys to be able to see me. Hey guys, what's up? It's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. Chat. I don't know. Okay, I guess I need to just go back over here to this. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do, you guys. I'm going to grab my phone because I don't know how to do it any other way. Okay. Oh, mercy. Me and Nate just got back from the splash pad. And let me just tell you guys something. It is 100 degrees here. 100 degrees. Hotter than the Dickens. Okay. All right. Okay, so what I was going to do is I was going to come on and chat with you guys. So me and Nate went to the splash pad, and like I said, it was a really, really hot. Hey, Michelle, what's up? So I've been sober since July 13th of 2015. I'm actually on medically assisted treatment, which is Suboxone, and I started that in July of 2015. And through the past 4 years, I've been working really hard on doing like my therapy, 12-step meetings, and just trying to change and do better as a person, right? And so what has happened is now I've finally gotten to a point in my recovery where I feel like I can start tapering. So I have began to taper, and I'm down from 12 milligrams of Suboxone to 8 milligrams of Suboxone. And it's a slow taper because, you know, I hear all these horrible stories about people like jumping off and tapering really quickly and then jumping off at like 8 milligrams. And the way my doctor explained it to me is that we need to taper really slow, and then gradually when I get down to like 0.5, 0.5 or 0.25, then I'll jump off. But I have stayed sober without any illegal substances or alcohol for the past 4 years. So actually, July 13th, you guys, is my 4-year sobriety birthday. And I have to tell you guys, like, I cannot believe that I've made it to 4 years. I was addicted to I was a poly substance abuser, like, I was addicted to multiple substances, um, methamphetamine, IV methamphetamine, IV cocaine, IV Roxy. I shot heroin a couple times, but it wasn't very prevalent here, so I shot up Dilaudid, morphine, and Roxy instead. Um, I went to prison for a year from 2009 to 2010. I've been to 5 treatment centers, got 1 felony on my record, and you know what, you guys? I think my saving grace and what really changed my life was having my son. When I had my son, it was like that jolted me into this, like, new life where I had to start making better decisions, because before I had my son, I was just really depressed, very, like, I was self-loathing. I hated myself. I wasn't happy. I wasn't confident. I didn't have any self-esteem. I was very, very sad and just always trying to use drugs and alcohol to change the way I felt. And I did that from the time I was 17 until the time I was 32. Now, there was times where, I would go to treatment and I would get sober for 30 days, or I would get sober for 2 weeks, or I would get locked up and then I would detox in jail. I remember when I got sent to prison, you guys, I got locked up and I was under the influence. And I was in county jail for 60 days before they sent me to prison. I feel a lot better physically, but mentally I'm having a hard time. Well, Michelle, here, let me share something with you, okay? So, the disease of addiction is 2 parts, right? It's mental and physical. So, a lot of us think, "Oh, well, I'm going through withdrawal, that the physical withdrawal and all that stuff is gonna be the worst part." But I'm here to tell you that, and you're experiencing it right now. For me, the hardest part was psychologically, was learning how to be okay without having drugs, learning how to be happy without getting high, because I had become so accustomed to getting high for everything, getting high when I was sad, getting high when I was mad, getting high when I was like, um, celebrating a freaking job opportunity. It was like every single thing I would experience, I had to use drugs with. I don't even know myself anymore. I'm only 3 months off of it. So the first like 6 months to a year of sobriety, like it's the most difficult time, I think, because what's happening is you're learning how to relive your life. And so take it easy on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Have you started trying to go to meetings or hang out with any other sober people? Because going around and being around other sober addicts and alcoholics that are doing good in their lives, that can encourage you, that can show you the way, is going to benefit you so much. Because for me, I had been so used to like just getting high with me and my significant other, right? Everyone around me is like, you're through the hardest part. Well, that's because everyone around you thinks that withdrawal is the hardest part, right? But honestly, girl, I could go through withdrawal 20 times. The hard part is going through this. And so that's the thing. It's not that you don't know yourself. That's not what it is. When you were on drugs, that wasn't you. I want you to think back, Michelle, to before you ever picked up a drink or a drug. When you were a little girl, when you were growing up, what made you happy? What was your passion? What was it that you liked doing? For me, before I ever picked up a drink or a drug, I loved to dance. Oh, girl, I could dance so good. I loved choreography. I loved playing basketball and fast pitch softball. And so that was Nicole. And then I lost myself from the time I was about 17 to the time I was 32. I was blotting out all these traumas that I went through my life. And, a lot of the things that I went through were self-inflicted traumas. Like I would go through something that I'd have a hard time with something, and it was due to my addiction. Now there were some things that started, like sexual abuse, that started when I was younger, that nobody knew about, and I didn't tell anyone, right? And so keeping those secrets and not telling anybody that deep, dark secret, I would drink and I would get high to like repress those feelings. Being outdoors makes me the happiest. Okay, well, listen, get outside and get into some nature, girl. Start getting back to the things that make you happy without drugs. Okay. There's like, you know what I do sometimes? And we do this on my channel. Hey, Mr. Ward, sometimes on my channel, we'll go on nature walks and I'll live stream while I'm walking and I'll just talk to you guys about recovery, but I don't want you to give up because you are doing it. 90 days sober is a huge accomplishment. Do not stop fighting, okay? My advice to you, my suggestion is to get to some meetings, AA or NA, whatever meetings you want to go to. There's even meetings here online. There is Refuge Recovery, there's Smart Recovery, and there is AA and NA speaker meetings here on YouTube. I just shared one over to my community tab. I found this new page. It's called White Chip. And it's an AA speaker meeting YouTube channel where they have people who got sober come and share their stories. And I shared one over to my community tab, and it's Anthony Hopkins, the guy from Silence of the Lambs, and he was an alcoholic, and he shared his story. So whenever I feel down or I'm having a hard time, hey, Big Easy, I will go on to those YouTube channels and I will listen to a speaker meeting, and that helps me. Or I'll come on here and talk to you guys about when I'm struggling, and that helps me too. I'm telling you, like having a fellowship with other addicts and alcoholics, it helps me so much. It helps me get through the day sometimes, because sometimes I have a bad day, you guys. Like, really do have a bad day sometimes. Okay, what's up, Barry? I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the channel. I have issues with meetings because the ones I've been to, most of people there are there because they have to be, not because they want to be. Oh, yeah, like court ordered. Hey, Lou. Yes, I do like ASMR. I actually listen to Karuna Satori ASMR. But I know what you're talking about, Michelle. So listen, if you're going to these meetings where all these people are court ordered and they don't want to go there, try a new one. I'm serious. And come here and hang out with us. Okay, so let me share something with you. Every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday, I do live stream meetings. Okay, now they're not AA or NA approved meetings. They're just meetings where I read from the books and we talk about recovery. So they're just me sharing my experience. But a lot of people come here and they come to the meetings and they count that as going to a meeting, because you'll see, girl, there'll be like 25 people in the chat all talking to each other and helping each other. And it's amazing. I was just getting ready to do a YouTube video when I saw that you were on. Yay. You know what, Lou? I don't know. I would probably have to ask them. But that's why I just kind of like try to be careful and let you guys know, like when I'm doing my meetings, that they are just my experience, and that cool, it calms me down during anxiety attacks. Barry, I love ASMR. Me too. Honestly, like if you haven't been able to tell just from being here in the chat, I am super like high strung and I'm like, but so sometimes you might have to watch some ASMR after you get off my channel. Yay, Big Easy. So that's the thing, you guys. That's what I was going to tell you guys. So on Sundays, we read out of the Narcotics Anonymous basic text. And next week, we are on step 2. And what we're doing is we're just reading, okay? And we're discussing those chapters. And so we're in chapter 4, which is how it works. Last week, we did step 1. This week, we'll be on step 2. And then on Tuesday, we do the Alcoholics Anonymous Big Book study. And we are starting, I think we're starting How It Works in the Alcoholics Anonymous reading. And you guys, I'm more versed in AA because that's the kind of sponsor I have is an AA sponsor, but I'm learning a lot about NA. And I just like reading because I truly believe in a lot of the things that the 12 steps represent. The only thing that I wish differently about some of the things that I read are that I was reading earlier today and I didn't get to upload it. Narcotics Anonymous has a pamphlet, and it's all about how Narcotics Anonymous stands, what their opinion is about medically assisted treatment. Okay. And I'm on Suboxone. Like, I'm transparent with you guys about that. And I always will be. And you guys are going to see me go through the transition. I'm going to get off Suboxone and I'm going to show you guys, like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Right. And I don't ever want you guys to feel like I'm pressuring you or pushing you to do that. If you're on medically assisted treatment, you have to make that decision for yourself. When two or more gather together, it's a meeting. Big Easy, I feel the same way. Absolutely. So, but I was reading in there and it was talking about how in some NA groups, if you're on medically assisted treatment, they won't let you share. And that bothers me because can you imagine going into a meeting? Hey, Annie. Hey, Sophia. I'm so glad you guys are here. Can you imagine going into a meeting and being so excited to be there and wanting to share and let people know and be honest that you're on medically assisted treatment and then them telling you that you're not allowed to share? I just think that's so counterproductive. So there are meetings in Philadelphia, and it's called Medically Assisted Recovery Anonymous, and it's a 12-step meeting for people on buprenorphine and methadone. So that is what we kind of do over here on Friday nights. We do a medically assisted treatment support group. So I just want people to understand that, like, it doesn't matter how you get sober, you guys, just as long as you're trying to get there, you know? Exactly, Big Easy. And that's the thing. As long as we're honest with ourselves and that's what the thing about it is, you guys. Okay. Like, I know that I'm on Suboxone. I know that if I don't take Suboxone for 3 days, it's going to make me sick. I'm going to go into withdrawal. Right. But I also take my medication as prescribed. I'm working a spiritual program. I'm doing my 12 steps. I'm being honest. I'm being open minded. I'm willing. I want to help other people. I want to give back what was given to me. Like, I'm not just sitting here taking my medication and just expecting to be cured. Like, I have put in so much work into getting sober. Yeah, Lou, that's fine. Go ahead. I have put so much work, you guys, into my therapy with my therapist and my in here. And Michelle, that's what I was sharing with Michelle earlier. Addiction, the physical withdrawal, that's difficult, you guys, and it's no fun. You're going to be uncomfortable. But the hard part is the psychological and the mental hardships that we go through. Because a lot of us started using drugs and alcohol at a really early age. And so we didn't mature past that age. Have you guys ever heard that saying that if you started getting high at like 16 years old? I have schizophrenia. Do you have it too? No, I don't have schizophrenia. I do have a little bit of anxiety and depression, and my doctor, I'm treated with Lexapro and Wellbutrin. But Mr. Barry, you're welcome here, baby. We don't mind. You just stay over here with us and hang out. We accept everybody over here on Real Talk Recovery. So, what I was saying was, what was I saying? Damn it, I totally lost what I was saying, you guys. Do you guys ever do that where you like are on a roll and then you look down and I totally just forgot what I was saying? What was I saying? Does anybody remember what I was saying? Oh, okay. So when we start using drugs and we're like young.
Look how many cars I got.
I know.
Gravedigger. Toro.
When you start
fire truck.
using drugs and alcohol.
Crab.
When you start using drugs and alcohol, you guys, at a young age, what happens is that stunts your mental, emotional maturity, right? And so for me, I started at 17 years old. And so, like, I've kind of been in that 17-year-old maturity level for a long time. And so now I'm trying to learn how to, you know, be a grown up. And I'm trying to learn how to live and learn how to deal with the feelings that I have. Hey Ian, because of the things I did in my addiction. How is the quality, Ian? Is it okay?
Mom?
If any of you guys want to come up here and share about your own journey in recovery, let me know and I'll give you a link to the chat and you can come on TV with me.
Hi guys, I have to show you what I have today.
Go ahead.
I got gray. Okay,
Grave digger. It's clear. Good deal, Big Easy. Good job, son.
and this guy.
Go ahead. Look at all these trucks he's got, you guys.
Look how many I got.
Look at all these trucks, you guys. All these toys he has. Okay. Okay, be nice.
Mom, this
Yes.
is what you do when you're in a channel. You just say, "Oh."
Don't worry about your life, honey. Hey, Nate. Eli said hi, Nate. Oh, Ian said, I love Grave Digger.
What was that her name that said?
Hey, Sophia.
Who said hi?
Thanks, Lou. I love that.
Who said hi?
I'll read it. Ian did. Therefore, I say to you, don't worry about your life, what you will eat or what you'll drink, nor about your body or what you'll put on. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? Look at the birds of the air, for they neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not of more value than they? We are worthy. You guys, we are worthy. And that's I think that a lot of us, even people that don't struggle with addiction, like, it's easy to forget that, like, we're amazing people. We deserve goodness and success and happiness and recovery. And it's easy to get caught up in just like everyday materialistic things. But when you think about it, you guys, I'm just so grateful to be alive, especially because of all the crazy things I did in my addiction. You know, I'm going to take you guys in the bathroom and wash my face and stuff. I just feel icky. Tell me what you guys thought about Dr. B coming on the channel yesterday. What did everybody think? Were you guys happy with that? Do you guys want to see him come on more often?
Mom, this is how you do it when you see which toys you don't want and which toys you do want. Look.
What? Put them all back, son. Put them all back, boy. You guys, this child, he is making a mess. Let me see what y'all are saying. Put this right there so I can see what y'all are saying. Okay, so did you guys like having Dr. B on the channel or what? Because I was so, next time he comes on, you guys, hey Sandra, next time he comes on, I want to ask him, like, I want to get into the discussion about addiction, being a disease, and I want to talk to him about how addiction is genetically passed down from from your parents and from your people in your life that are related to you. I want to ask him about that. I know, right, Annie? He's so passionate about helping addicts, and it really came through in, in what he was talking about. It touched my heart, you guys. It really did, because I feel like Dr. B, I feel like me and him, we're both on the same level. Like, we really care about helping other people. Because here's the deal, you guys. When you have someone in your life who is affected by the disease of addiction, like I'm affected.
My pants smell gross.
I'm affected by it. My sister was affected by it.
My pee pants.
Okay, Nate.
Wait, it's glitching. Watch it. Watch it.
No, it's not.
Watch it glitch. These stopped in.
I know a lot of people in my life have been affected by the disease of addiction, counting me. So I'm really passionate about helping other people. Go ahead, baby. So when I see somebody else, especially a doctor, passionate about helping others like Dr. B was, it was just so amazing. It was such a good feeling, you guys. I'm so glad that he came on the channel. I cried at the end of it. I could tell he really does care about, yes, me too. And I'm going to be honest, like I was nervous. I was like, oh, he's a doctor. How's he going to be? But when he got on here, he was just a person and he was just so passionate. And that came through when he was sharing with us. And I'm glad we had him on the channel, you guys. So what I'm doing is I'm just brushing my hair and talking to you guys. It's all ratted up.
Can you put redheaded guy on here?
What redheaded guy, Nate?
The guy named
Oh, Red Hatter? Yes, go.
Redhead.
Hold on. Are you drinking something else or are you waiting?
I drank enough for it.
Yeah, you are waiting.
I didn't wait all of
My
it.
hair is so ratted up.
Here.
Yes, my hair.
I just tried. I got ran over by my own. That is so.
Put Red Hatter on. Okay, sorry guys. Sorry y'all. Sorry. Nate needed me to do something. So it was a good live stream. How many of you guys were able to make it out last night? And if you didn't get to make it and you have questions, you guys need to send me your questions and I will write them all down and we will save those for the next time Dr. B comes on the channel because I'm gonna try and have him on like once a month to answer questions, okay? And then also I'm gonna go on his channel and his podcast, which I linked in the comment section of the video we did together. I'm going to go on his podcast, you guys. So y'all better come and listen and show your girl some support. Because what I'm going to do is what he does is he'll have me on and I'm going to share with him my whole life story. So he's interested in learning about each of us addicts and how, we got started and what was in our lives that affected us to get on drugs, right? Hugs to you, Lou. Love you, girl. I'm glad you stopped by. Thank you for your support. I really do appreciate it. Thanks. I see you. Yes, Reality Bites. I was listening to the podcast last night, you guys, and it was really, really good. Like he had this girl on. I can't remember what her name was. Did you listen to it yet, Annie? She was telling, it's like they tell their whole life story and share with Dr. B like how their addiction got started. I want to ask you guys a question. So answer me. If you post the time, we will be there. Okay, Whisper, I will post it, I promise. And you guys know that today's Saturday, right? So tomorrow is our NA basic text meeting. And I have those every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, okay? What do you want to come up here for, Barry? I don't know you. I'm nervous to have you up here. Who are you? You tell me what you want to come up here for. Because I can't be having people come up here and being silly. This is serious. We talk about recovery from addiction here, and I don't want to have people on here just being funny. So anyway, you guys, that's what we're going to start doing with Dr. B. We're going to start having Dr. B on the channel once a month. I'm going to go do the podcast with him. I'm super excited about that. And you guys, I don't know what's going on with, it's okay. Don't apologize. It's okay. I just want what we talk about is like I want to keep it to recovery from addiction. And so when somebody new comes in that I haven't really seen around before, it kind of makes me nervous. I'm just keeping it real with you, Barry, because I've been trolled really hard on my channel, honey. And so let me get to know you a little bit before I throw you up here with me, okay? And don't take it personal. It's not anything against you, okay? I just am very careful because like I said, I've been trolled, and some people come on here and like there's 7 people in the chat right now, right? Earlier there was 14, right? Half of the people in the chat were probably people who were trolls taking screen recordings of my channel. So it makes me nervous. Thank you, sweetheart. I'm so glad you're not taking it personal. Thank you. So anyway, you guys, I'm just coming on here to talk with you guys and just chat and let you guys know that, you know, I really appreciate everybody who came out and supported me last night when we did the Dr. B. Hey, Gunny, what's up? You're 16? Barry, what are you doing over here on this channel? 16? Are you in school? Well, can I share something with you, Barry? I want you to listen to me really good, okay, honey? Don't ever do drugs, okay? I'm Nicole, and I'm an addict. I'm in recovery, and I've been sober for almost 4 years now, and it was the worst decision I ever made was to get high. And I was about your age when I tried it for the first time. No, you can stay if you want to stay. Stay with us, baby. You can stay and hang out. Let me just explain something to you. It was the worst thing I could have ever done was use drugs. And I was your age when I first started. I was hanging out with a bunch of kids, right? And I had started dating this guy. I'm going to tell y'all a story. Barry, I'm telling this story for you, baby. So listen up. Okay, so I was dating this guy. I was 16 years old. Oh, and he was so cute. I had the biggest crush on him for a long time, and we started dating. And I fell in love with him, okay? His name was Robert. And me and Robert ended up being each other's first loves. Well, Robert was a lot more mature than me, and he was a lot older than I was. And his mom was always at work. So we would always be home alone. Like I would stay the night at his house and all kinds of stuff, right? So there was not a lot of parental supervision. So I remember the first time I smoked pot with Robert. I coughed and I coughed and I coughed. And that's how it started, Barry. It started because I tried smoking pot one time. And it wasn't the pot that made me turn to other drugs, but what it was because I had tried pot, I was kind of like loosened up, you know? And I was like, well, pot's not that bad. Now I'm going to try cocaine. And that's when I tried cocaine for the first time. And I loved it. By the time I was 17 years old, you guys, I was a regular cocaine connoisseur. I was using cocaine a lot, especially to stay skinny. And by the time I was graduated high school, I had a cocaine and methamphetamine habit. And so I'm sharing this with you today, Barry, not because I'm trying to scare you, but because I want you to understand something. I was young, and I thought that it was going to be cool. I thought that getting high would be fun and that I would fit in and that people would like me. And it ended up giving, like, honestly, it ended up giving me energy. It ended up, I had a good time. But do you know what else happened? All my other friends that tried drugs, they just stopped because they didn't have the disease of addiction. When I tried drugs, I couldn't stop because there was a disease inside of me that I didn't even know was there. And so when I started using drugs, that allergy was set off. And so I'm sharing this with you because it can happen to anyone. Your older sister was addicted to meth. Okay, then you probably understand what I'm talking about then, babe. It can happen to anybody. And because your sister was addicted to methamphetamine, you know what that means? That means that you have a stronger chance of having an addiction because it runs in the family. And so I want you to be really aware of that, okay? And be really careful. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to help because you're young and I don't want you to make the same bad choices that I made. How many of you guys can relate to starting drugs when you were younger and getting high because, you know, everybody else was doing it? You know, my parents tried to protect me, guys, and keep me like sheltered. I remember my mom telling me, you know, that if I had sex before marriage, that I would go to hell. And I remember being so afraid to kiss my boyfriend for the first time because I thought I was going to go to hell. But that all ended up going down the drain. And so instead of scaring my son, good, Barry, good. I just quit smoking cigarettes about almost a year ago. So I've been sober from cigarettes for almost a year. And listen, Barry, if you smoke weed, that's your decision. But I want you to just be careful because you need to get it from a dispensary and not a drug dealer, okay? Because with weed, what can happen is, this is where I worry about people who smoke. Because if you're getting it from a drug dealer, then that puts you in a compromising situation. Do you know what I'm saying? And if that drug dealer has dope, that can be a trigger for you. And so I have a lot of people on my channel that use weed, right? They use weed as like a medical maintenance. And I respect their decision to smoke, right? I would never judge anybody's journey. I don't care if you smoke weed. I don't care if you use kratom. I'm not going to judge your journey because I don't know your circumstances, right? And the reason why I'm like that, you guys, and I'm not such a hardcore, like, you have to do it this way. It's because I've been judged before for my own journey, okay? And so you won't catch me judging somebody else's journey because I've been judged for my own. So I've learned that the hard way. Oh, you know what? I bet you did you tell your doctor about that? Because I bet you could get a prescription for it since you've got the schizophrenia. Seriously, I bet you could get a medical marijuana card, man. And that sounds like that would really help a lot of people who have, paranoia, because there's different strains, right? There's different strains of pot, marijuana, and some strains can be really calming. Some strains can be really, like, give you, like, energy. And so you could probably get a prescription for it, honey. But I'm so glad, Barry, that you came and talked with us because you know what? Just like you have your struggles with your mental health, we all are going through some kind of struggle, right? And so you need to make sure that you're going to therapy. and that you're talking to your mom and dad and being honest about how everything's going in your life. And don't ever keep things a secret. Because here, let me share something with you. Secrets keep us sick, okay? So, Barry, if you're struggling and you're feeling sad or you're going through a hard time and a depression, you need to talk about it because that's going to help you process, right? And so that's one thing that all of us here on my channel, we all try to do is we try to help each other and talk to each other and process through things, okay? So, I'm not a doctor, you guys. I'm just a girl who has a channel who's trying to help people. But I'll always try to help you and give you the best suggestions that I know how, okay? And there's no shame. Listen, we all got, can I tell you a story? Y'all another story about hallucinations? Well, one time I had used meth and I had been up for like 13 days straight, okay? Sandra has Sandra has bipolar and PTSD. What is and Pakalolo is weed in Hawaii, right, Sandra? Okay, guys. So I had been up for like 13 days, right? 13 days straight without any sleep. And I was at my friend Gerald's house in this trailer, right? Oh my gosh, you guys, it was so bad. I hadn't slept in days. Like I said, 13 days. It was so bad. And I was at this trailer and everybody else was, on drugs and staying up. And so instead of, going to sleep, I just sat in this chair in the living room, looking at this vent on the ceiling. Okay, this vent on the ceiling, I kept hallucinating that there was somebody inside this vent. Now, a lot of my old time subscribers will remember the story, but some of you guys are new and might not know the story. So I sat in this recliner and I looked up at this vent and I stared at this vent, you guys, for 8 hours straight. Because you know what was happening? Sai from Duck Dynasty was inside of the vent. I could see his face. And I sat there for 8 hours looking at Sai from Duck Dynasty while I was hallucinating because I hadn't slept in 13 days. Now, you guys, not only had I not slept, but I hadn't really drank or eaten anything of any kind of substance, right? Okay, Barry, have a good night, baby. We'll see you later. Thanks for coming through. So I hadn't eaten anything, you guys, and I was literally, well, you're welcome on the channel anytime, kiddo. I was starving, you guys. I hadn't eaten in days. But I sat there in this recliner, like I said, for 8 hours looking at Sai. Well, I was freaking out. And so my friend, Gerald, he finally came in there to check on me. It's like, Nicole, what is going on? What are you doing? Why are you in here and what are you staring at? And you know me, guys, I started going off. Can't you see it? Can't you see it? It's Sai. It's Sai from Duck Dynasty. It's Sai from Duck Dynasty. And he was like, Nicole, I don't see anything there. Right? And I was like, man, you sure you don't see it? Don't you see it? It's Sai. It's Sai from Duck Dynasty. Nicole, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Well, I was tripping, you guys. I swear to God, I saw him there. Oh, you're still here, Whisper? Okay, cool. I swear to God he was there, you guys. And so that's when my friend Gerald, he said, listen, you've got to get some sleep. I'm going to give you this Seroquel, and it'll help you sleep. So he took a Seroquel, a 300 milligram Seroquel. I think it was like 300 milligrams, a high milligram. And he broke it in half, and he gave it to me. He said, here, take this. So I took the Seroquel, and I went to lay down in the bed with my friend Barry because Barry was gay. So I went to go lay down with Barry and his boyfriend. So I went and lay down right in the middle of Barry and his boyfriend. Oh yeah, you see that? Yes, you guys. So I went and lay down and tried to go to sleep after taking the Seroquel, right? And remind you guys, it was a high dosage Seroquel. And so I laid in the bed and I thought I had fallen asleep. At least that's what everybody else thought. But apparently I didn't fall asleep. And I got up and I started walking around. I got up, you guys, and I got out of that bed and I went outside in my boxers and my t-shirt and I started walking down the street. Okay, are y'all listening? So here I am in my boxers and my t-shirt walking down the road in Southwest Little Rock at 3 a.m. in the morning. So I have been up for 13 days with no sleep, hallucinating, and now I am walking down the street hallucinating on Seroquel because the Seroquel didn't make me go to sleep. It just knocked me into even further hallucinations. So I'm walking down the street, you guys, and I am seeing all these people that I used to work with. All these people from Kroger are everywhere. I mean, everywhere. I'm seeing them all. I see, this is so crazy. I see Mr. Burnett. I see Mrs. My old manager. God, what was her name? Kathy Brewer. All these people are there. So the next thing you know, hey, Michelle, you're still here too. Good girl. Y'all stay with me. I know stay with me. I'm fixing to get to the point. So I'm running around, you guys. I'm running down the road, hallucinating. I'm seeing all these people from my job. And then the next thing I know, I look over on this lady's porch. It is 3 o'clock in the morning, you guys. It is pitch dark. I'm in the hood. Okay. Like when I say hood, I mean like a really bad part of town. I mean, like they call it Little Mexico. And so I'm in a really bad part of town and everybody is asleep except for me. And I'm running all over the place outside. Well, I look over and I see this lady's porch. And I look on the porch and I swear to God, you guys, all over this lady's porch, all over her porch, there were all these weed brownies, okay? Brownies with like marijuana weed all throughout them. And they were all scattered all over the floor on this woman's porch. And so I started freaking out and I grabbed, apparently this lady had like a broom or a broom or some kind of mop on her porch. And so I grabbed this broom and I started sweeping this porch frantically, sweeping it, trying to get all this weed and all these brownies off this woman's porch. I woke this little lady up and she stuck her head out the window, okay? And she was Spanish, Mexican lady. And she started speaking Spanish to me, right? I didn't know what she was saying and it scared the shit out of me. I thought she was going to shoot me with a gun. Hey, Heather, miss you, girl. I thought she was going to shoot me with a gun, you guys. So I'm hallucinating and all I hear this lady doing is speaking to me in Spanish. And all I can understand is her telling me to get off her porch because I don't speak that good of Spanish, but I can understand a little bit because my mom used to speak Spanish to us when we were little. And so she called the cops on me. All right, I have ran off her porch and I am like literally running around, walking around, seeing and talking to people that are not there. You guys, when I tell you these stories about me hallucinating and me being homeless and me being that crazy person underneath the bridge, I am not lying to you guys. I'm telling you guys 100% authentic truth to what it was like in my addiction. When I was in active addiction, you guys, I was a fucking hot mess. And I could not be controlled. So she called the cops, and the cops came. I remember the cops pulling up, you guys, and all I could see was the lights from the cops, right? There was no sirens. They just had their lights on. And I remember the police officer getting out of his car and standing behind his car door and like looking at me and calling out to me. Sorry, my nose itches. You guys, I swear to God, he had pulled his gun out. I swear, you guys. And I started dipping and dodging, thinking he was trying to shoot me. Oh, my nose itches. He finally walked up to me and realized that I was like not in my right mind. And he said, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And I remember just telling him that this lady had pot brownies all over the floor of her porch. And he was like, "What is your phone number? Do you have a cell phone?" And that's from when I remember him taking my phone and calling my mom. Like I gave him my mom's number and he called my mom. And then my mom told him, "Please take her to the hospital." And so he called an ambulance, and an ambulance came and picked me up. I got into the ambulance, you guys, and when I got into that ambulance, I thought the ambulance driver was trying to shoot me up with cocaine. I remember this like it was yesterday, you guys. This guy was trying to shoot me up with cocaine in my hallucinations. So they had to strap me down in the back of this ambulance because I was hallucinating so bad that I thought this guy was trying to shoot me up with cocaine. They finally got me to the ER, you guys, and they got me inside my own bed, in my own room, my own ER room. And inside that ER room, I freaked the fuck out. I thought that there were frogs all over the wall inside this emergency room. I thought that my boss from work and Miss Frida were sitting outside the emergency room door, blowing crack smoke under the crack of the door. The nurse and the doctor came in and they asked me, "Have you done bath salts?" And I told them, "No, I didn't do bath salts. I shot methamphetamine and I shot up some Roxy's." And I told them the last time I shot meth was like 2 weeks ago. It was like 10 days ago, you guys. That's how long I had been up on this meth bender. I am not even lying to you guys. And if any of you guys have shot methamphetamine, you know that you will be up for days. Well, and let me just go ahead and give a quick disclaimer. I am not glorifying drug use. I am not proud of any of this. This is just a story time, sharing with you guys how bad it got. So they're trying to figure out why I am just so out of my mind, hallucinating. And I forgot to tell them that Gerald had gave me a Seroquel trying to bring me down, right? I totally forgot about it, you guys. And so they're sitting there trying to figure out why I am not like falling asleep. They keep asking me if I had done bath salts. Finally, they gave me a shot of Thorazine and Halidol. Have you guys ever had Thorazine or Halidol? It will knock your ass out. At least it's supposed to. But not me. That's Thorazine and Halidol. My body just fought against it even more. So here I am on Seroquel, Thorazine, and a Halidol shot, and I am still awake, hallucinating. this threw me into even stronger hallucinations. Okay. Oh, it was so scary. And so they wanted me to take a UA. Okay. And so I had to go to the bathroom and give a UA. Well, I couldn't pee. So you know what they finally had to do? They had to put a catheter in me. And that's the last thing I remember is having a catheter stuck inside me. Do you know what happened after that? How many of you think you know what happened after that? After that, you guys, my kidneys, my liver, my internal organs started shutting down. And I went into a coma. I went into a coma, you guys, for 7 days. For 7 days, I didn't come out of this coma. My parents came, my dad came, my mom came, my sponsor came. Everybody came because they thought I was dying. They thought I was they thought I was dying. 7 days, you guys, I laid in there in a coma. And then out of nowhere, I woke up. I woke up and my mom was sitting beside me. And she was like, I will never forget this, you guys. She said, Nicole, do you know how long you've been here? And you guys, I swear to God, I only thought I had been there one night. My mom was crying her eyes out. And this was the moment I realized that I had a really bad problem. Because the only thing I could think about while my mom was crying was how bad I wanted to go out and get high. My mom asked me where my car was, and I told her where it was. And me and her and my dad went over and got it from Gerald and Barry's house. Thank God they didn't wreck it or sell it or do anything crazy like that. Because these were my drug friends, you guys. These were friends that would take my car and sell it. You know? I got my car and I moved in with my sponsor, Robin. Okay? And I wanted to stay sober, you guys, but again, the obsession to use was so great inside of me that the minute my parents left Little Rock and went back to Hot Springs, I went out and got high. I went home to Robin's house, I slept for a night, and then I went out and got high. When I think about how bad my life was back then, and I think about all the stuff I did in my addiction, I really am grateful to be alive, you guys. And that's why I come on here and I share with you guys about my life, because I want you guys to know that I've been exactly where you're at. And I know exactly how hard it is to get sober. Okay? I know how hard it is. I know what it feels like when you're struggling. Okay? And I also have been there. That night after I went and slept at Robin's, I got high. Yes. So when I came out of there, Heather, is that Heather? Yeah. When I came out of the hospital, I was, sober. Like I didn't have any, meth or any opiates in my system. I was as clean as a whistle when I came out. And I wanted to get high so freaking bad. Do you know what I mean? And so I remember my mom and dad taking me to Robin's house, and Robin was such a good person, you guys. I remember her taking me to buy a bed that day, and she bought me a little twin bed to put in her room, in her house, so that way I would have somewhere to sleep. And she set me up with a nice little bed, and she did all these things like trying to help me, so that way, I would succeed and maybe I would stay sober. But I still wanted to get high so badly. You know what I'm saying? It was like even after having this near-death experience, I was still obsessing over getting high so much. Well, I ended up going out and getting high a night later, and guess what happened, you guys? Can you guys guess what happened? I fucking overdosed. I went out that night, I got high on meth, and then I went and I took some Xanax and I shot some Roxy's and I overdosed and I ended up in the St. Vincent's Hospital, right? I called Robin and I told her where I was at, and that's when she told me she wasn't going to come get me and that she was leaving me there. And I was pissed. And the hospital was calling all these rehab centers trying to see if they could find me a rehab center to go into, right? And I am smooth as hell high. And so I remember what I did was, again, it was 1 a.m., y'all. This is literally 2 days after I just got out of the hospital from being in a coma. It's 1 a.m. I take these IVs or whatever they had on me out, and I AMA. I left. Just wanted to say, hey, anyone in the West Coast, be safe. And if you can get to the East Coast, they are predicting a 10.0 magnitude earthquake. Stay safe. Thanks, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Thank you, baby. Hey, Rob, what's up going on? I'm just telling story times. So I got out of the, I just left the hospital after having the coma. I moved in with Robin, got myself a little bed, and went out the next night and relapsed, okay? Well, I overdosed over at my friend's house. I overdosed over at, with my friend Alicia, you guys. And I ended up in the hospital. And this always happened to me. I would always overdose because I would have benzos in my system and I would shoot up too many Roxy's. And I would end up overdosing. So I ended up in the hospital, and I called Robin to come get me, and she told me she wouldn't come get me. You guys, I was so mad. I was like, fuck you then, right? And so I left the hospital AMA, okay, against medical advice. How many of you guys have AMA'd from the hospital before? I was like, I'm out of here. And so I left, and it was 1 o'clock in the morning, you guys. So my butt went walking down the street at 1 o'clock in the morning with no shoes on, looking crazy. Flip-flops. I had flip-flops on. So I was walking down the road, and I remember like everybody was passing by me. It was like 1 o'clock, and it was like weekend night, and people were passing by me, and I swear to God, you guys, they were like yelling out to me and like trying to proposition me for sex. Or at least that's what I thought they were doing because I was so damn, fucked up. And it wasn't so much that I was high anymore because I had just went in there and they had gave me the Narcan or whatever it was. It was that I had I was just so out of it in my mind, you guys. Yeah, it's 100 degrees out right now. And so I was just thinking people were yelling at me as I was walking down Markham Avenue. Well, Robin wouldn't come get me, so I walked all the way down to the Kroger, right? I walked down to the Kroger and I called my friend Tara. You guys remember Tara? I've told you guys about Tara before. Tara is the girl who called the state of Arkansas on me and DHS when my son got taken. So I called Tara, and Tara came and got me. And she was like, listen, if you're going to come here, you got to go to sleep. You guys, for me, that was like everything people wanted me to do is just come and go to sleep. But it was like, I just couldn't do it. I don't know what it was. It was because I was mixing so many different drugs that I would be so high on meth that's what I always went back to was methamphetamine. And so she brought me home and she had crack. So we stayed up and smoked crack all night long. She ended up, and I ended up, of course, going and buying more because I always was able to have a little bit of money because I was holding on to, At this time, I was like barely holding on to a job. I was bouncing back and forth between different jobs. But I'm telling you what, you guys, that I will never forget those hallucinations. I will never forget, you guys, how bad it was for me back then. And that is why I don't get high anymore. Because I would get high and I would lose my fucking mind. I would get high and I would end up in the hospital every single time. And it didn't start out like that. Like my addiction, I used to get high and be cool. My body would not let me go to sleep, girl. It was so strange. Do you know what I'm saying? I know you guys know what I'm saying. It was like my body was tired, and that's how it always was for me. The only way I was falling asleep is if I had pumped myself full of so many narcotics that I would finally go to sleep. You know what I mean? And that was how it would happen a lot of times. Like I would have to get so high just to go to sleep, just to pass out. I would have to knock myself out with drugs. And now it's like, now you guys, I'm so grateful that I can actually like sleep now. But even when I first got sober, you guys, like I was telling Annie and Sonia today, because we had a Patreon Hangouts chat. Even when I first got sober, I had such a hard time sleeping because my body was so used to like tweaking all the time, And so that was a big part of my opiate addiction, would be mixing my opiates with methamphetamine. I would always get high on meth. That was like one of my number one drugs was methamphetamine. Ooh, you guys, this is popping. I'm having fun doing my makeup with you guys and just chatting. This is fun. So let's think. Okay, so I stayed the night at Tara's house that night, and all was well. Like I ended up, me and Tara, we had always lived with each other like a bunch of different times. Like whenever I would really go through something, Tara would always let me come and like move in and all that kind of stuff. So I knew that I could like, I don't mean to be funny or anything, but like Tara was a drug addict like me, And so I could manipulate her and get her to let me stay at her house because she felt bad for me, And that wasn't me being a good friend. That's just me being a drug addict and taking advantage of the situation. I needed to get my butt into treatment. So right around this time, let me think. Okay, so right around this time, I still had my job at Kroger. Right around this time, Tara and me were not getting along, and I knew I needed to get my own place. Right, I needed to move out, or at least find somebody else to live with that I could get along with. And so one day I was working at my job at Kroger, and this guy named Hunter came in. This guy I knew from Narcotics Anonymous, or from AA, but it was a Cocaine Anonymous meeting. Hey, Cindy. And so Hunter came in, and we just got to talking, and I was telling him how, I needed a place to live. I was like, man, I don't have any place to live. I really just need somewhere to live. I'll roommate up with somebody. I can pay them rent. I'll pay, $350 to $400 a month rent. I just need somewhere to stay where I can be safe, And he was like, well, why don't you come and move in with me and my girlfriend, right? Right then, you guys, I should have never moved in there, but I was like, jackpot. I was like, okay, bet. So I ended up moving in with Hunter and Kaylee. And one day I'm going to get Kaylee to come on my channel, you guys, and talk with you guys, because she is cool as hell. And she could tell you guys all the stuff that went down when I was in my addiction, because she was there, she let me live with her for a long time. So this was about 2011-ish, the end of 2011, because we celebrated New Year's Eve together. Well, damn, that looks good. So New Year's Eve went by, and I was still working, and I was somehow holding on to my job. And the next thing I know, I was driving because I had a car. I just always like put my car somewhere because I wasn't going to drive when I was fucked up. Well, one night I was driving downtown in North Little Rock with my friend Gerald. Again, Gerald, and we were in the Fun Wash parking lot shooting up, right? And we shot up our Roxy's, and then I went to drive off, and I got pulled over. Wee 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 wee. Ah, hell! I'm getting pulled over, and I have rigs, right? I got syringes. I was like, shit. You guys, I'm telling you, I was so smooth. I took that syringe and I slid it down and I stuck it up inside of me. Stuck it up me real fast. And the cop pulled up right beside me and she said, you know, I need your license and registration, please. And I gave it to her. And that's when she told me, you know, your car tags are expired. Damn, what? Yeah, your car tags are expired. And your insurance is not valid. Well, I already knew all that. So that's when she said, you know, I'm going to have to take your car. But at the same time, she had seen Gerald moving around in the front seats. And so she checked underneath his seat and she found a bottle of Xanax bars. And they weren't like his, they didn't have his name on them. And so she ended up taking him to jail and impounding my car, you guys. So my car went to impound, and that's the day I lost my car forever. I ended up selling my car for $3,000 cash. I took $2,000 and gave it to my parents to pay off some credit card bills. And I took $1,000 and me and my friend went on a Roxy shooting binge. And I bought $1,000 worth of Roxy's and Xanax, you guys. And I shot up every fucking one of them motherfuckers. And ended up, guess what? In the hospital again on an overdose. This time, the hospital called my parents, and my mom and dad came up there. And they brought me back to Hot Springs with them because I had just lost my car. I mean, everything, you guys. I lost my car. I had nothing, okay? And so they let me stay with them for a couple days in Hot Springs, and I didn't want to stay, you guys. I didn't want to be there. And so I asked them to take me back to Little Rock, and they brought me back to Little Rock, and I went back to Kaylee and Hunter's house and moved back in with them, and they drove me back and forth everywhere, right? And so it's like the middle of 2012, okay? I've been living with them for like a year now, and guess who shows up at the house? Guess who came over to the apartment? Neil. That's when I met my husband, Neil. And when I met Neil, you guys, we fell in love. When I saw his face, I knew that he was the one. I knew that I was going to marry him, you guys. I knew it. I knew it. And we started dating, and that's when he shared with me that he was an addict too. But he was telling me that he was on methadone and that he was actually like staying sober. And I was like, wow, you know, I want to do that too. I want to get sober. And I remember him, you know, helping me and telling me that, you know, he'll help me and I could take some of his methadone and we're going to get sober together, right? So I was taking his methadone and living at Kaylee and Hunter's house. But guess what was happening, you guys? I wasn't getting sober on the methadone. It was actually making me worse because I was taking Xanax and I was doing all kinds of things behind the methadone. And so what would happen when I would take methadone is I would stay up all night long eating food and sleepwalking and like dancing in my sleep, just all kinds of crazy stuff, right? Well, me and Neil didn't want to pay Kaylee and Hunter anymore, so I told them, I was going to move out. And they were okay. They understood, they weren't even mad. And I moved out, and I ended up getting my own apartment, me and Neil, in the middle of Little Rock on University Avenue, and it was called the Towers. You guys, if you look up these apartments, I will tell you this firsthand. These were crack apartments. Like, everybody there smoked crack. You could go down the hallways all night long because it was like, it was a high rise. And so there was elevators and there was hallways. And so you could go down the hallways all night long and you could smell people, you guys, smoking crack all night long. And so when me and Neil moved in there, you know what we did? I stayed fucked up on methadone, shot meth, and smoked crack all night long. I ended up getting fired from my job at Kroger. Finally, one day I had came in and I had been up for days, and I took 7 bars of Xanax and tried to go into my job and work. And I was walking around and hallucinating and running into things and slurring my words and all kinds of mess. You guys, it was so embarrassing. Yes, baby. What's that, bub? What's up, sweetheart?
I have to tell you something.
Yes.
Can I have something to eat?
Yes, you may.
What?
What would you like me to make you?
What do we have?
Well, we have hamburgers, hot dogs, macaroni salad, Chinese food, noodles,
My dad.
cereal.
Tell me what we just all have.
You can have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, turkey sandwich.
My dad.
Nate, what do you want?
Tell me what we all have.
I told you so. Cereal.
Everywhere on this.
Move, baby. Move. Get your. Hey, pick up all those toys first, son, or I'm not feeding you. So it was crazy, you guys. So that's what would happen. We lived there, and we got worse and worse and worse into our addiction, me and Neil together. And pick up your toys, and then I'll feed you something, okay? But you're going to have to pick up first. You can't just make messes and expect to have food when you pick up a mess. Hear me? Okay, so we sat there and we just got high and got higher and higher and higher and ruined our lives together, and it just got worse and worse and worse, you guys, as time progressed. And damn, it was so bad, y'all. It was so bad. Annie, I used to take bars like that all the time, y'all. And I would drive. One time, me and Neil were driving. This was after I lost my job. And he had a seizure in the car while we were driving. And it was the scariest thing. But it was because he was coming off of benzos, you guys. And he didn't have any in his system. And so he had a seizure while we were driving, and we wrecked the car. It was scary. Shit like that would happen all the time. But oh, hell no. What the heck? I'm telling you guys these stories because, you guys, I'm telling you what, doing dope is not worth it. It's not worth it. It will ruin your life, okay? You will lose everything you worked so hard for. Listen to me, please, you guys, if you listen to me at all ever, okay? If you can get sober, please do it. Please do it. You do not want to be like me, okay? You want to get sober like me, but you don't want to abuse drugs for so long, because what it does is it just makes your life so much harder than it ever had to be. And that's what happened for me, is like it made life just harder on me, Damn, man, that makes me so mad. I love that highlight. It made life difficult because I used drugs and alcohol. And if I had just listened to people when they were trying to help me, I might have had such an easier time in my life. But instead, I made it so difficult. Do you know what I'm saying? And so that is why I share these stories with you. Not because I'm like glorifying drugs, not because I think it's funny or I think it's cool. I'm telling you guys these stories because it's real life. This is what happened. When I was in active addiction, these are the crazy things that happened. This is how bad it got for me. And that's what I did. I would do these things and not even realize how out of my mind I really was. Yes, don't wait until it gets too late. Don't wait until you get so strung out that it makes it even harder to get off. Do you know what I'm saying, guys? If you can stop and get help before it's too late, But here's the thing. There's always hope, okay? That's one thing I want you guys to understand. If you're alive and you have a heartbeat, okay? There's always hope for sobriety. So don't give up. I know, Michelle, if you're still here, I know you were talking about, having a hard time and just barely hanging on. And listen to me, okay? Sobriety has to be number one in your life, okay? So these are the things that I suggest to you, Michelle, if you're still here. Get into a support network, okay? Find yourself a group of women who you can relate to. Come and join us on Annie. Tell her about, if any of you girls want to join Patreon, it's $5, okay? $5, $10, or $25. It's whatever you want to pay. You pick. We have a Patreon chat for women, and I upload videos over there just for us girls. And so if you want to come over and join Patreon, if you want to. Now, if you don't have the money, you don't have to do it. If you don't have the money and you don't want to join Patreon, guess what else I have? I have a free Facebook group called Real Talk Recovery, the Facebook group. We have a woman in there. Her name is Candy. She goes live every morning with morning meditation. Shout out to my girl Candy. I pop on at 10 o'clock at night and do the nighttime meditation. And all of the people from the channel that are really active, they're on that Facebook group, and it's completely free. And you can chat with people and everything. It's called Real Talk Recovery, the Facebook group. I just don't, and so I have options. If you cannot join Patreon because of the money, then join our Facebook group. And what I'm going to do, you guys, in the Facebook group, if enough people join, I will make a chat for you guys in the Facebook group so you guys can talk to each other and stay connected through Messenger, okay? So either way, you're going to be able to have support through the Real Talk Recovery family, okay? On Patreon, me, Annie, and Sonia just got done talking. We were on the phone earlier because what I try to do with the girls on Patreon is we try to talk to each other at least once a month on a video chat and just touch base and let each other know like how we're doing in our recovery, and we help each other stay accountable. Like, okay, for instance, here's an example. I used to do these videos on Patreon every Sunday where I would list my weekly goals. And I started slacking and I haven't done my goals. Well, Annie messaged me and said, hey, Nicole, can you please do the goals on Sunday because it really helps me. And so, yeah, Nate. Okay, I got that. So instead of me that's a way that Annie is helping me stay sober and accountable. And so, you know what? That helped me because she's helping me stay accountable. Even though it's like, you guys, just because I'm leading the group, just because it's Real Talk Recovery, doesn't mean that I don't need help in my recovery. I'm not perfect. I need help too. And so Annie helps me stay on track. So does Sonia. So does Krissy. So does Amber. So does Hannah. So does all my girls do. And so I just want you guys to know that there are options. You know, you don't have to be on the Patreon if you don't want to be, but that is an option too. And like I said, if you don't want to pay or do something that costs money, then you can come on. Yes, the Facebook group is a closed group, Michelle, and it's the same title as my channel, real_talk_recovery. Also, you guys, hold on, let me put this. I just beat my face to the gods, you guys. I gotta go make my son some bacon and eggs. So real_talk_recovery. If you want to, you can request me as a friend on Facebook. My name on Facebook is Nicole Pludre, Ploudre. And yeah, so I have a lot of resources out there to help you guys stay sober on your sober journey, okay? So it's just up to you what you choose to do, you know? All the energy we're putting to drugs. Yes, Heather, exactly. That is exactly right, girl. Like, I am totally obsessed with, and my passion is helping other people. It's literally my life's work now. Like, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. Like, I want to get to a point, and this is my goal with Real Talk Recovery. I want to get to a point where Real Talk Recovery is a business, and I can make enough money just from these YouTube videos to have a recovery coaching business where I hire people that work underneath me to help people get sober. But I want to be able to fund that through my channel. So the more people that join my channel and subscribe and watch my videos, that's helping me, because my goal is to, you know, be able to help people through my channel. And so, you know, you guys, the content for the viewer is free. You know, it's YouTube and the ads that will pay for me to be able to do those kind of things. And you know, you guys, it is literally my dream to do this this is just like, this is so important to me. I don't know if y'all realize that, but my channel is like, this is just everything to me, and helping other people and building other people up and helping people get sober. It is my passion, and I love it. I've doing, and passion comes across when I'm helping you guys, because this really means a lot to me to do this. So anyway, I love you guys. I hope you guys will all come over and hang out with us on the Real Talk Recovery Facebook page. Hey, Cindy, love you, girl. Like I said, you guys give me hope, and you guys encourage me to keep doing what I'm doing here on my channel. And I want you guys to know that I love each and every one of you. And like I said, if you're still alive and you're breathing and you have a heartbeat, then you can recover. There is hope. I love you guys, and I hope y'all have a great night, and I'll see y'all later.